Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lake Monster Lures, and in this one I'm doing a collaboration with AM Anglers. That's Adam Mihara. He makes lures just like I do, and you should go check out his channel. It's going to be linked in the bio down below. That's AM Anglers. He's out of New Jersey, and we got this idea to do a collaboration where we're both going to make a green sunfish lure. Except for he doesn't have power tools, and through talking to him, he actually tends to go to the dollar store quite often to get many of his supplies. I've done that once before, dollar store challenge. Check it out. It's here or there somewhere. It was a pretty interesting challenge, and I was pretty true to the idea of just using dollar store products. However, in this one, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm using an airbrush, but the challenge is to collaborate with him and build each other lures. I'm building him a lure, he's building me a lure, and we're trying to use only dollar store items. So without further ado, I'm going to go head to the dollar store, get the stuff needed to make this lure, and get started. Wish me luck. I hope it turns out really well. And yeah, wish Adam luck too. I mean, after all, I'm going to be fishing it, and I want to make sure that it works for him as much as his lure works for me, you know? So like, comment, subscribe, and guys, check out lakemonsterlures.com for merchandise. Okay, let's go. So, project is just that simple. I'm going to grab this thing, and lure build is done. Just kidding. I'm not doing that, but it'd be really easy, nice segmented lure, except for all these segments would not actually work. So I'm just going to grab some wood. This is way too thin, but luckily they do have this piece of pine here. I mean, yeah, we can make that work. We can make this work. Okay, so in the Dollar Tree, we are searching for things. So far I've found wood. I mean, at the very minimum, that's what we need, and that's it. And I'm thinking maybe I can grab some tin foil or something. I don't know. So there's this loofah I can use for scale pattern. Oh my god, filming in the stores is awful. I hate it. I feel like I'm gonna get caught or somebody's gonna yell at me, but by the way, they have the best candy selection here ever. So if you need candy, come to the dollar store. So I found all this stuff, but it's actually like $5, not $1. Is that cheating? But it's resin. We can actually just use resin. Or is that cheating? I don't know. Maybe I'll grab that. I think I have almost everything I need. I'm just getting kind of like looking over my shoulder, tired of looking over my shoulder. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out, and then we're gonna get into the build. So yeah, wish me luck. Okay, Dollar Tree has been secured. We got the supplies that we need to make a lure. At least I hope we did. This is the second challenge for me of Dollar Tree. And yeah, I think this one's gonna go better. I am kind of cheating though a little bit like that. I'm gonna airbrush. So, but yeah, I'm gonna try to stay as true to the challenge as possible, and then I'll get the lure. Sorry, you couldn't hear me very well outside, so I'm gonna finish here. I'm gonna get this lure started here in a second, and then I guess the idea is that I'm gonna send it off to Adam, and he's gonna try to catch fish with it. I really want to make a good lure for him. I want him to be impressed, and I want his subscribers to be impressed. So if you're one of those subscribers, be impressed. So this is the exact size of the piece of wood that I got from the Dollar Tree. So right now I'm just marking it out with this see-through ruler. It helps me make sure that I'm staying symmetrical in my design, which is very important for the action of the lure once it's in the water. If one side's bigger than the other, it's just going to swim all sorts of cattywampus. So the challenge here is trying to make it fit within that dimension of this very skinny piece of wood, which unfortunately was the only thing that was available at the Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to go with kind of like a square bill, but we did say that we wanted it segmented, so I'm going to put a little segment in there. A little segmented square bill almost. And now I'm just going to do the top-down view, kind of measuring this out so again that it's symmetrical. One of the little tricks that I like to do is I find the middle line of this, draw one side, and then once I have that done, I cut it out and then fold it along that line so that way I don't freehand the other side. It is literally just a tracing of what I did on one side. So again, staying symmetrical. It's a sweet little tip. I guess that's what I'll call it. So another sweet little tip, I really should not be calling it a sweet little tip, but another thing I like to do is use a glue stick for putting my stencil onto the bait. It doesn't stay on as much as like a spray adhesive, but it attaches just well enough to get the job done. And I also like to cut these out in two pieces because, again, symmetry. I can then hot glue them back together so that way when I go to cut the profile, I don't know why I keep calling it profile, but the top down view of the thickness of the lure, it actually stays symmetrical because it's held in place with this, quadrilateral and six-sided shape that is a rectangular prism. Fun 5th grade math words for you. So yeah, it's glued back together, and now I can cut the top, or profile as I've been calling it. Another benefit that I've got going for me is the use of power tools. Adam did explain to me that he doesn't have any. So the bandsaw, the power grinder, all these things that I have are also a little bit of a cheat to make things a little bit easier and better for me. So here I'm just drawing out the chamfer lines, I believe is what they call them in the professional bait making world, but basically that's just a nice way of saying to get a beveled edge. I'm going to round this thing out so that way it's not a block fish swimming through the water, it's a rounded fish. Also, I'm marking out where I'm going to segment it so that way it can swim nicely. And here I'm just drawing up a stencil for some details on the paint job when I get around to it before basically I'm too far in and I can't make these. So I'm going to cut these out with a razor blade and then we'll be good to go on starting the paint job. Alright, so here I'm making the hardware, the twist eyes for the actual lure, and I'm using this tool for spinning the wire. I absolutely love this thing. It is linked on my website at lakemonsterlures.com. They're not that expensive, and you can get them on Amazon. So the links, like I said, are on my website. Check it out. Another extremely useful tool that's also on there is this see-through measuring device, and it measures in millimeters as well as in inches, and it's just like a game changer when it comes to finding measurements to see where everything is, and again, maintaining that symmetry. Here I'm just marking out where I want to put in the hardware for the segment. Yeah, I think that'll work pretty good. I like that. Just rattles pretty nicely. Alright, here I am measuring out the bill or bib for the lure. I'm using Resin polycarbonate, which is kind of thick. I think I'm going to actually switch up what I use in the future, but for now I got a bunch of this stuff, so I'm going to keep using it. And yeah, this is just about 1 inch by 1 inch, and it's tapered based off of where the lure meets. So it's all set up, and I'm going to get that in place using not super glue, but UV resin. This super glue is just for a top coat before I apply paint, and I need to add that on there before I add the UV resin, because once I do that, everything's going to be good to go. And here is what I use for my UV resin. It's just a storage container lined with aluminum foil and a couple of UV lights or black lights in it, just kind of rigged together. Cheap and easy build. If you want more information on that, just let me know in the comments down below. And now the last thing I do before I go to paint is making sure that I have this weighed correctly, and a really sweet tip on how to do this. I said sweet tip again, but guys, it is a sweet tip. Hot glue. Just hot glue some lead on the bottom there to find out the weight that is needed in order to get it to do the action that you want, whether it is sinking, floating, or slow sinking, whatever it needs to be. Get it on there, weigh it using the scale, and you are good to go. I'm going to add the wet lead in there using the lead pot, and now we are going to start painting. And I'm going to start, as always, with a top coat, or base coat rather, of white. All white everything. Alright guys, that's going to do it for part 1. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. Make sure that you hit subscribe so that way you get notified when part 2 does come out, which will be very soon. I do post videos every week, so please stay tuned. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. I'm excited. Hopefully we're going to catch something on Adam's lure. See ya.